formation of coal. By the way, guys, is there some background noise from my side?
No,
If there's
sir.
any, no, okay, good. Okay, Sundus, correct your name, or
You
let me
can't
correct you.
correct it.
Yeah, okay.
You can't correct.
You can't correct you. See, you can do that. Just give me a minute. Yeah, okay, now I have corrected it. Anyways, let us start the class. Others haven't joined the class. Still others haven't joined. Today we are going to talk about petroleum. So petroleum is a natural resource from which basically fuels like diesel, petrol, kerosene. These fuels are obtained from petrol, from petroleum. I mean to say, petroleum basically refers to petroleum or crude oil. Both are same thing. Keep that thing in mind as well. Petroleum and crude oil, both of them are same thing. You need to keep that thing also in mind. By the way, you guys tell me this thing, like you guys have not been submitting your assignments. Why is
Yeah, I
it so?
submitted.
You have
I
submitted
just like before the class, just
before the
submitted.
class. Okay, Chakrika, what about you? Yes, Chakrika. Also, you guys turn your cameras on in the class. I won't be repeating this in every class. Yes, Chakrika, you tell me why you guys are not submitting the assignments on a regular basis. Sundus, you told you have submitted it. That's good to know. Yes, Khadija, how are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Yes, I'm also good. Okay, guys, it is mandatory for everyone to turn their cameras on in this class, in the class. Okay, na? This information is okay, Chakrika. Got it, got it.
Sir,
Mm,
I don't have a camera on my laptop and the other laptop is really slow to use. That has a camera on it.
okay, then okay, then that is understood. I can understand that. No worries. Okay. Okay, without any further delay, let us start the class. Already the meeting started a little bit late today. We have started the class a little bit late today. Let us talk about petroleum. Petroleum, it's a dark colored, thick oil. It's a dark colored, thick crude oil which is found deep below the ground only in certain areas. Getting it now? Yes, Gauri, how are you? Those who
Good
can
afternoon,
turn
sir.
their cameras on in the class, keep turn their cameras on in the class. Those who have a working camera and it is possible for them to turn their cameras on in the class, make sure you keep it on. Okay, now okay. So talking about petroleum, petroleum is a dark colored, thick crude oil which is found deep below the ground only in certain areas. And petroleum, in its crude state, petroleum has got a very unpleasant smell. It has a very unpleasant smell. Furthermore, the term petroleum is derived from two words. It is derived from two words. The first word is petra, that means rock. Petra means rock, and oleum. Oleum means oil. Oleum means oil. So it is called petroleum. That is, it is called petroleum because it is found under the crust of earth and it is trapped in the rocks. If you were to look at this image, you will find that these are the rocks. This is the earth's crust. This is the crust of the earth. You guys know about the earth's crust, mantle, and core. These are the different layers of the earth. So in the
Yes.
first layer of the earth, that is crust. So in the crust, petroleum will be found. Now where it will be found? It will be found between the two rocks. This, look at this rock over here and look at this rock. It is found between two rocks right now. So that's why the name also, the name also means the name also, the petroleum name also is made up of two words. petra and oleum, that is rock and oleum. Thereby it means that this petroleum oil is found trapped between the rocks. Okay. Then furthermore, you need to know that this is not a single, this is not made up of just single thing. It's not made up of just single mineral. It is made up of a mixture of different type of substances. Right now. So petroleum is not a single chemical compound. Petroleum is not a single chemical compound. It's a complex mixture of different type of compounds, which we call, which we know as hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons, you guys already know. Hydrocarbons are the compounds which are. Okay, Aleph has entered the room. So hydrocarbons are the compounds which are made up of only two elements, namely the carbon and hydrogen. Getting it or not? Further, you guys
Yes.
tell me, isn't this a fossil fuel? Petroleum is a fossil fuel, obviously. Right now.
Yes, sir.
So let me quickly summarize the different things which I have told you about petroleum so far. Yes, Aleph, how are you? First thing what we learned about petroleum, please turn your mic off. Whoever's mic is off, make sure like whenever you have to speak in the class, only then turn your mic on in the class. Yeah. So I was saying that petroleum, first of all, I say that it's a dark colored thick liquid. Next, what did I told about this? It is found below the ground only in certain areas. Okay, no? So found in Earth's crust only in certain areas. It won't be found everywhere, only in certain areas. Third thing I told you guys about this, that it has got a very unpleasant smell. It has an unpleasant odor. Third thing you need to know about this petroleum is that it is insoluble in water. It does not mixes with water. Okay, na? So it is insoluble in water. Then it is made up of mixture of hydrocarbons. Who will tell me what is hydrocarbon? Yes. Gauri, Sundus, Khadija, anyone? Chakrika? Yes, Alif. What are hydrocarbons? Any compound that is made up of the elements carbon and hydrogen. Guys, am I audible to everyone or not?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay. The mixture of hydrogen and carbon. So hydrocarbon, it's a compound made up of carbon and hydrogen. Further, we'll be learning about hydrocarbons in detail. We'll be having several examples of hydrocarbons like methane is going to be there, butane, propane, etc. Next thing I told you guys about this petroleum is that it is derived, it is made up of two words, petra and oleum. Petra means rock, oleum means oil. Keep that thing also in mind. And isn't it a fossil fuel?
Yes, sir.
It is a fossil fuel. So these are the general things what we know about petroleum. In the previous classes, I told you a few interesting things about petroleum. Like for example, the amount of petroleum that is left on Earth, it is estimated that uh, 45 or 47 years of petroleum is left. If you were to look at the current consumption level, if you were to look at the current consumption level uh, and look at the amount of world oil reserves, thereby we see that petroleum might last for another 45 or 47 years only. Getting it or not? Although this data is not very accurate because it can change. For example, if the rate of consumption with the increasing population, the rate of consumption is going to increase more and more. Okay, na? So that is the thing about it. Also, note this thing down that petroleum or crude oil both are same thing. Okay, na? Petroleum or crude oil are both same thing. So petroleum is also called crude oil. Now, what does crude oil mean? Crude oil, what does it mean? Crude here refers to its raw state, its impure state. Okay, na? Now, sometimes petroleum, apart from being called crude oil, it is also called as mineral oil. That is also called as mineral oil. So, hope you guys would remember all these facts. Any doubt in this? Any questions in this? Please do let me know. Yeah.
No doubt.
Okay. Further, let us understand how it was formed. Let us understand how petroleum was formed. Okay, now. See, petroleum oil was formed by the decomposition of the remains of tiny plants and animals that were buried under the sea millions of years ago. Millions of years ago, um, tiny plants, animals, they were buried under the ocean, and due to their decomposition, petroleum was formed. Right now, what must have happened? Guys, give me a moment. There's someone on the door. I will be back in just a minute. Yeah, sorry for the interruption. I'm back. So I was saying that millions of years ago, what happened? Aquatic plants, aquatic animals, when they died, their remains settled at the bottom of the ocean. So tiny marine plants and animals died and they were buried on the ocean floor. Over the time, over millions of years, sand, silt, and several things started to deposit above them. So they were covered by layers of silt and sand. Getting it now? And they were buried deeper and deeper. So due to this, what will happen? This will lead to development of enormous amount of heat and pressure. The plant and animal remains, the bodies of plant and animals, dead bodies, they were subjected to enormous amount of pressure due to the weight of sand and heat, uh, due to the weight of sand and silt, and then they were also exposed to enormous amount of heat. Getting it or not? Furthermore, you will get to know that their decomposition took place in anaerobic conditions. Like their decomposition took place in absence of air. Hope you guys are getting it
Yes, sir.
right now. So petroleum was formed by the decomposition of remains of tiny plants and animals that were buried under the sea millions of years ago. And it is believed that millions of years ago, the tiny plants and animals which lived in the sea, they died. Their dead bodies sank to the bottom of sea, and they were soon covered with mud, with sand, with silt. And then due to the high pressure developed due to accumulation of sand and silt and heat. And apart from pressure and heat, there were some other factors also acting in the decomposition of the remains of plants and animals. That would be the action of bacteria also. Getting it or not? So due to high pressure, then heat and action of bacteria, and in the absence of air, the dead remains of tiny plants and animals, they slowly converted into petroleum. And the petroleum that was formed, it got trapped between layers of two kind of rocks. One was impervious, another was pervious rocks. One was impervious rocks, and another one was reservoir rock. Let us understand what are these two types of rocks. See, this rock is non-porous. Non-porous means that nothing can pass through it. There are some type of rocks through which slight amount of water can pass through. You might have seen rock like pumice. There are several rocks in which are porous in nature, meaning that it has got very tiny holes in it. So water or some other things can pass through that rock. Is my screen stucking?
No, sir.
I hope not. Yeah. So these are the impervious rocks right now. These were the porous rocks, and this is the impervious rocks. So in between these two type of rocks, the oil was trapped. Okay, na? And oil being lighter in density, it floats above the water. We have underground water also, na? At certain places, underground water is also there. Hope you guys are able to grasp this concept.
Yes.
So oil being lighter in density, it started to float above the water. Yes. If someone has any question, please to let me know.
So can you explain it again?
Yeah, sure. See, as I told you moments ago, that the petroleum would be, it got trapped between two kind of rocks. These two kind of rocks were impervious rocks. These were the impervious rocks. Impervious rocks are basically non-porous rocks. Non-porous. These rocks are non-porous. Non-porous rocks are what? Like, if you were to understand about this term porosity, what does porosity mean? For example, if you were to have something in which there are so many tiny holes, so water or some other things can pass through it, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So these rocks are non-porous, meaning nothing can pass through it. So they will be this layer which I am pointing over here. See this layer, this layer of rock and this layer of rock. Both of them are non-porous rocks, meaning nothing can pass through it. Water cannot percolate
I have
through
a
it.
doubt. Then what's the
Yeah.
difference between the both impervious rock and square rock? Like
Within
both non-porous, right? Then what's the difference between it?
guys, is my screen not visible to all of you?
No, sir,
Oh,
it's visible.
Sir, mine
it's
is
visible.
visible but stuck.
It's stuck. Yeah, here also I found it to be stuck. Yes, Sundus. What's the difference between then?
Because both are non-porous, right? Then what's the
Yeah.
difference?
Yeah, both of them are non-porous. See, if you were to look at these rocks, now these are the kind of bed rocks. These are kind of bed rocks. They are called as reservoir rocks. These are giant pieces of rocks. While if you were to look at these impervious rocks, they are not giant pieces of rocks. They are smaller pieces of rocks and they are stacked together. So if you were to look at the geological structure of the earth and you look at the crust, for example, if you were to look at the crust over here, in this you will find that as you go deeper into the earth's surface, you will find different types of rocks. For example, say you go inside the earth to a certain height, you will find rocks of this size. You will be going deeper into the earth, then you will be finding rocks of this size. The size of the rocks increases, and they become more non-porous. They are more impervious in nature. So the only difference between these two type of rocks is that of their size. Okay, na? Hope you guys are getting it.
Okay, sir.
Now
Yes, sir.
let us understand about the extraction of this. How do we extract it? How the petroleum is extracted from the earth. So petroleum, as we discussed moments ago, occurs deep under the surface of earth between two layers of impervious rocks. occurrence and extraction. Further, we have understood that petroleum is lighter than water. It is lighter than water, so it will float above the water. And petroleum oil deposits are usually found mixed with water, salt, and earth particles. Petroleum oil deposits, it will be, it's not like it will be very kind of segregated or separated. Like some amount of sand might also be found in it. Some amount of earth, salt will also be found in it. So what I'm trying to say here about extraction is that first thing I did told you that it is found between two layers of impervious rocks. Second thing is that petroleum floats above water. The reason being it is lighter in density. Third thing I told you that petroleum oil deposits are usually found mixed with water. Petroleum oil deposits are usually found mixed with sand, salt, and water. Okay. Then another thing about this petroleum is that it does not occur in all the places of Earth. It is found only in certain areas of the Earth. It will be found in only certain areas of the Earth. And now, if you were to look at this image, you will find that this a gas is also found above it. So this gas is the natural gas that occurs above the petroleum oil, and that is also trapped under the rocks. Furthermore, let us understand how it is extracted from the earth. How it is extracted from the earth. So there will be, you will be having a drilling rig, like for example, say that this is rock and that is also rock. Okay, now, and say that this is the layer of petroleum. So in order to extract this petroleum out of the ground, you will be having some drilling. You will have to make some oil wells. Oil wells have to be constructed. Okay, now, so you will be having a structure like this. Now here, from here, you will make a big hole. Right now, you will be drilling the holes here. So petroleum is extracted by drilling holes, which are called as oil wells. What do we call them as? Oil wells. So petroleum is extracted by drilling holes called as oil wells in the earth's crust. So wherever the presence of oil has been predicted by survey, like first of all, that area has to be studied. That area has to be studied. And once petroleum reserves are located there, after then you would be drilling the holes. You will be drilling the holes called as oil wells. Is that clear to everyone or not?
Clear.
Yes, sir.
Chakrika, you got it. Khadija, Sundus. So that is one thing to be done. Okay, now. Furthermore, the oil wells that are drilled by these are the structures. This structure which I have drawn here, these are called as drill rigs. These are called as drilling rigs. Have a look at this one over. That will give you an idea of how our drilling rig looks like. So drilling rig is the structure. The oil wells are digged using this drilling rig. So a drilling rig is basically a large structure with equipments for drilling an oil well. Let me repeat. A drilling rig is a large structure which has got the equipments for drilling an oil well. Then when an oil well is drilled through the rocks, then natural gas comes out first. Keep that thing in mind. Because first of all, when you will be drilling, obviously above the petroleum reserves, you have got natural gas now. So what will come first out of the oil well?
Yes.
This gas will come out from this oil well now, isn't it, guys? So when
Yes,
an
sir.
oil well is drilled through these rocks, natural gas is the first thing to come out, and it will come with a very great amount of pressure. It comes out with a great pressure for some time, right now. So for initially, natural gas will come out with great pressure, and then later on, the crude petroleum oil will come out by itself due to the gas pressure. It's not like you have to fit in a motor or something here. This petroleum reserve will come out automatically out of this. You know why? You can understand it in this manner. For example, have you guys ever observed this? For example, you were to have two tumblers, let's say. You have two tumblers and you want to shift some water from this tumbler, from the tumbler A to tumbler A to tumbler B. And all I have given you is a piece of hollow pipe. So you guys tell me, using this pipe, will you guys be able to transfer the water from tumbler A to tumbler B?
Yes, sir.
How you guys are going to do that?
Sir, first put the end of the pipe in tumbler A, and another we put mouth in the another hole of the pipe and
Hmm.
suck it
Hmm.
and rapidly put in tumbler B.
Very good, Alef. Okay, now very good. So here what happened basically, as you dipped this pipe into tumbler A and you started sucking out air from this, so this created a pulling force. And with that, water started to flow from tumbler A to tumbler B. In the similar, guys, is my screen is stucking? Because as I am moving the cursor, moving the arrow,
No,
it's
sir.
not showing on my screen.
No, sir, it's not
Not
stuck.
stuck.
Okay. Now, in this case, what is going to happen? That's what I was saying, like there's some network issue over here. Yeah, I was saying that just like in this case, as the natural gas will come out of this oil well, then it will create a suction force. So petroleum will start to come out automatically from this oil well. Hope you guys have got this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, now. Also keep that thing in mind that it will come out with a greater amount of pressure, right now. So after the gas pressure, after the natural gas comes out of it, so the gas pressure has subsided, it has reduced, and the petroleum will start to come out of this well. Now, in some of the cases, like this example which I gave you, in this example, both natural gas and petroleum were coming out. So some wells that is dug into the earth, they yield both petroleum and natural gas. From those wells, both natural gas and gas and petroleum comes out right now. Getting it or not? While in some cases, some wells will only yield natural gas but no oil. Try to understand. In some wells, you would be only getting natural gas and no oil. Is that clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, early drilling of oil wells for getting petroleum was done only on land. Early drilling of oil wells for getting petroleum was done only on the land. Later on, oil wells were also drilled under the seabed also. Earlier, when the technology was not that much developed, so you would be able to drill the oil wells only on land. But later on, with the improvement in technology, now we are able to drill under the oceans, under the water bodies also. So some of the oil wells are now drilled under the sea also for extraction of petroleum and natural gas. Hope you guys are getting it. Okay, now. Now you guys should know this fact also, that the world's first oil well was drilled in Pennsylvania. Where it was drilled? Pennsylvania. Where is Pennsylvania? In which country it is?
USA.
Yeah.
USA. Yes.
United States of America. Very good. And that was in the year 1859. Okay, now. And 8 years later, we drilled the first oil well in India. So 8 years later, in 1867, oil was struck. Oil was found at Makum in Assam. It's a northeastern state in India. Right now. Further, later on in India, oil was found. Oil is nowadays found in apart from Assam, it is found in Gujarat, Mumbai High. Mumbai High is an offshore area. Okay, no? And it is found near the basins of Godavari and Krishna River also. Getting it or not?
Yes.
Okay, no? Now, if you were to talk about the oil depths, the oil deposits of Mumbai High, they are found at a depth of about 1,000 meters below the seabed. They are found like Mumbai High. You guys, hope you guys are getting it. It's an offshore area. Say that this is Mumbai High and this is the seabed. This is Arabian Sea. That is the seabed. And say that this is Mumbai High. So in the seabed now, you have to dig thousands of meters. You have to dig a well 1,000 meters deep in order to extract the oil here. So just giving an example, okay, now. So you will find that there's a special platform of steel that has been erected in the Mumbai High Sea to pump out petroleum from under the seabed. You guys getting it or not? By the way, this is a newspaper pamphlet, and this was this is the first oil well. This is the kind of drilling rig. Okay, now this is kind of a drilling rig, and this is there in Assam. It is in Assam. Okay. So these are the things about how petroleum, what petroleum is, how petroleum is formed, and what about its occurrence and how it is extracted from the ground. Now we are going to understand about refining of petroleum. We're going to understand about refining of petroleum, how petroleum is refined. Have a look at this animation, by the way. See, petroleum or crude oil, it's a complex mixture of solid, liquid, and gaseous hydrocarbons. Moments ago in the beginning, I told you that petroleum is made up of different substances. It is made up of different type of hydrocarbons now. So it's a complex mixture of solid, liquid, and gaseous hydrocarbons. And petroleum in its crude state, it is not very useful to us. Like if you want to use petroleum, that is crude oil, in its raw state, in its unrefined state, it is not very useful to us at that time. So before petroleum can be used for specific purposes, it has to be purified. It needs to be purified. Getting it now? So the process of separating crude petroleum oil into more useful fractions, into more useful substances, that is called as refining. Refining, or simply separation of petroleum into different fractions. Is that clear to everyone or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Khadija, you got it? Gauri, Sundus, Shakrika, everyone.
Sir,
Now, where do we carry out this process? Yes,
excuse me, sir.
Alif. Yes,
Sir,
Alif.
like petroleum is only found in liquid form?
Petroleum.
Yes.
Yeah, this petroleum is found in the liquid state only. Although it's very highly viscous liquid. Okay, no? Petroleum is a highly viscous liquid. Like if you were to hold it in your hand, like it will be very thick. Okay, no? It will be very thick. Okay, let us continue what we were discussing. So where this refining will be carried out, it will be carried out in a oil refinery, and this is how a oil refinery looks like. You can see that there are pipes attached to different section of this. Right? Have a look at this. One pipe is attached over here, one pipe is here, like that. Let us understand how it basically functions. So the refining will be carried out in this oil refinery, and the crude petroleum oil that will be extracted from the wells. Now the crude petroleum oil that will be extracted from the wells, it will be taken to these oil refinery through the pipes. It's not like they will be carrying it in barrels or something like that. They will be having a network of pipeline that from the oil wells. Also, an oil refinery is usually situated near to a oil well. I'm saying that this oil refinery usually is situated nearby a oil well. Also, it makes sense now. If it were to be situated several or thousands of kilometers away, it will be a very expensive process. You will have to lay a 1,000 kilometer, 1,000 kilometer um, pipeline. Getting it or not? So it will be situated near to it. So crude oil will go into inside this, and it will be separated into different useful fractions. The separation of petroleum into different fractions is done by a process. That process is called as fractional distillation. What do we call that process as? Fractional distillation. Okay, now fractional distillation. In the case of coal, we did studied about destructive distillation. Here we are going to learn about fractional distillation. Okay, now so let us understand what this fractional distillation is. So the fractional distillation is a process in which fractions of petroleum, like the components found inside the petroleum, which have got a different boiling points, are collected separately. Let me repeat. I said that fractional distillation is a process in which different components found inside the petroleum, like petrol, kerosene, diesel, naphthalene, bitumen, or natural gas, or different type of other gases that are found in it, will be separated out from different pipes, as you can look in this. So the key concept here is that different compounds found inside this have got different boiling points. They will start to convert it into vapor state, into their vapor state at different temperature. For example, you have different type of liquids in general. If you were to have examples, like water has got a different boiling point. Water has got a different boiling point. Milk has got a slightly different boiling point. Or other liquids will have different boiling point. In the same manner, the different components that are found inside the crude oil will have different boiling points. For example, if you were to talk about, first of all, the crude oil has been put into this furnace. The oil is heated in a furnace, and via this pipe it goes into the oil refinery. So first of all, you will raise the temperature, like obviously the normal temperature. In fact, below the normal temperature, that is at a temperature of 20 degrees Celsius, fuels like butane and propane will come out from this pipe that is located at the top of this cylindrical structure of this refinery. So first of all, inside this oil refinery, we will keep the temperature at around 20 degrees Celsius. So fuels like butane and propane will come out. Getting it or not? Then now you will start to raise the temperature of this oil refinery. So petrol will start to evaporate, and it will come out from this pipe. So once the temperature of this chamber, this oil refinery reaches 150 degrees Celsius, so thereby petrol will start to come out of it. Why the key concept here again is that, say that petrol is found inside this. Now petrol will start to convert into gaseous state only when the temperature reaches 150 degrees Celsius. So you have to increase the temperature up to 150 degrees Celsius. Now, at the time when petrol would be coming out of this pipe, diesel or other fuel oils will not be coming out, because at that time the temperature has not reached their required temperature. What they need in order to convert into gaseous state. You guys getting it or not? Please tell me.
Getting it.
Okay,
If you
everyone.
can explain again.
Yeah, sure.
Getting it.
See here the key concept is now in this process, different components found in the crude oil, in the petroleum, like petrol, kerosene, diesel, butane, propane, lubricating oils, paraffin wax, asphalt, all of them have got different boiling points. Now if you guys remember this procedure, this process of distillation, where we had examples of two different liquids, A and B, and we wanted to separate these two liquids. So first we raise the temperature to 110 degrees Celsius. So liquid A will come out. It will convert into the vapor state. So liquid A starts to rise, and here it will be collected into this test tube. So we have separated this. So they have got different boiling points now. Or suppose in this you had three different liquids. For example, you had liquid A, B, and C. This has got a boiling point of 110, 130, 140. So first of all, which liquid will be coming out of, will evaporate? You tell me. Which liquid will evaporate first?
A.
Obviously A, then B, and then C. So applying the same concept is being applied here also. That's why we call this process as distillation. Okay, now we are heating them at different temperature. Then later on you will see as the temperature will rise to this 200 degrees Celsius, then fuel like kerosene will start to come out of it. As the temperature is 300 degrees Celsius, diesel will start coming out of it. Then fuel oil will, and as the temperature finally reaches 400 degrees Celsius, then substances like lubricating oil, paraffin wax, asphalt will come out from this pipe. Are you guys getting it or not?
Yes.
Sundus, you got it?
Yes.
No?
Uh,
Yes.
this is downwards to upwards or upwards to downwards.
See, this is the topmost pipe. This is the bottom pipe. There's nothing to be topmost to bottom or bottom to topmost. Simple thing here is that when you keep the temperature inside this chamber to 20 degrees Celsius, butane and propane will come out of it. Now slowly you will start to increase the temperature. So you reach the temperature, exceed the temperature to 150, petrol will come out of this pipe. 200 degrees Celsius, kerosene will come out of it. So basic thing is that the crude oil is coming from this pipe into this chamber. So at this time, you can imagine it in this manner. This is your crude oil. Say that this is butane and propane, let's say. These are butane and propane. I say that this is petrol in it. Or let us say that this is kerosene in it. So in order for these different components, these different substances to come out of this chamber, they require to be heated at different temperature. At 0 degrees, at 20 degrees Celsius, butane and propane will come out. At 150 degrees Celsius, petrol will come out. And as soon as the temperature reaches 200 degrees Celsius, kerosene will start to come out, and so on. Are you guys getting it or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, na? So you guys tell me which of the following has got the lowest boiling point in it.
Butane and
Butane and propane.
Butane and propane, very good. Okay, na? So that is the whole procedure. Why this animation also you can understand. Have a look at this. Like all these different dots that you're seeing rising up, these are the vapors over here. Okay, na? And at the bottom, like then do tell me which one of them has got the highest boiling point.
then lubrication.
Lubricating oil, paraffin wax, asphalt.
Isn't it? So that is the thing about it. Hope you guys have understood it. Later, let us understand what are the different products that we obtain from petrol and what are their uses. So petroleum products are as follows. You have got petroleum gas. That is, it is further liquefied, and that is liquefied petroleum gas. The gas that was coming out from the topmost chamber, that was petroleum gas. Okay, now. Also, don't confuse this petroleum gas with this gas. Okay, now. Do not confuse it with this gas. These are two different gases. All right now. So talking about petroleum gas, the LPG cylinders that we use at home, liquefied petroleum gas. So that's the petroleum gas simply. It is liquefied and then packed into cylinders. So petroleum gas, generally liquefied petroleum gas is useful for the domestic purposes. Then petrol, by the way, petrol is also called as gasoline. Okay, also called as gasoline. So petrol, that is gasoline, it is used in different vehicles. It is used in mainly in vehicles. It is used. Then you have kerosene also. So kerosene is used as a domestic fuel. Earlier it was used as a domestic fuel, but nowadays it is not preferred as a domestic fuel because it produces lots of smoke upon burning it, and it's harmful for the health
No.
as well.
Petrol is a part of petrol, right? A product of it.
Yeah, exactly. Petrol is a part of petroleum. It is obtained from the from the fractional distillation of petroleum. Okay, no? Petroleum and petrol are different things. Petrol is obtained from petroleum, right now. So petrol will be used in motor fuel. It is used in aviation fuel also, meaning that in certain aeroplanes, aircraft, in certain aircrafts also it will be used. It will be used as a solvent for dry cleaning also. You know that petrol is, it is used in dry cleaning also. It's like if you have got some stain on the cloth, so petrol can be used to clean that stain on clothes. Then kerosene, it's used as a fuel for stoves, lamps, and for jet aircrafts as well. Diesel, it will be used for heavy motor vehicles, and in electrical generators also it is used. Then lubricating oil is used for lubrication. You have paraffin wax. Paraffin wax is used particularly in candles, in certain ointments, and in Vaseline also. The Vaseline, Vaseline, that is a moisturizer. That is also basically paraffin wax, made from paraffin wax. Bitumen. Now this one is very important. Bitumen is used in road surfacing, or basically metalling of the road. Earlier we were using coal tar, but now we use bitumen. Bitumen is used in making paints also. Okay, now. So hope you guys are getting it.
Sir,
Yes.
so that is flammable or not?
Which one? Bitumen.
Yes.
Yeah, bitumen can catch fire, but usually you have to heat it at very high temperature. Usually it melts. Okay, no? But in order to catch fire, you have to heat it at very high temperature.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Then when we the paint has bitumen, when if paint catch fire, it will flame highly.
Yeah, paint catches fire sometime. Paint catches fire sometime, and most of the paints are either most of the paints are oil based, In the paints, there are different kind of solvents are added, and oil based paints particularly, there will be two kind of paints. Keep that thing in mind. One that is oil based, one that is water based. Meaning that in the manufacture of paint, in some of the paints oil will be used, while in some of the paints water will be used. So those kind of paints in which oil has been used, that will be flammable, that will catch fire. Okay, no? Although
Okay, sir.
both of them can be dangerous, but the one that is oil based, in which oil is found, that is flammable in nature. Hope that clears it out.
How water paints are dangerous?
How water paints are, see, basically, while in the manufacturing of the paint, uh, manufacturing of the paint, in some of the paints water is also added. Both of them have got, by the way, different uses. Huh? Like some of the paints are used on metals, on used to paint metallic objects only, while some of them are used to paint wooden furnitures. So particularly wooden paints that are used to paint the wood of wooden furnitures, they are particularly water based. Okay, no? So water based and oil based paints are different. Oil paints also, it will dry and it will dry very easily. Oil paint dries extremely, after drying it becomes very hard, and it gives more durability. Okay, na? While nowadays we have got water based paints also, but they are not that much hard enough, and their durability is not that much good. So that's the thing about it. Okay, anyways, let's get back to the topic. We talked about these different constituents of petroleum. One particular this petroleum gas, that is liquefied petroleum gas, is very important. Let us discuss about it in detail. Talking about liquefied petroleum gas, which is used as a domestic fuel, if you were to look at how it is stored in the cylinders, so the petroleum gas, also you guys know that when you apply pressure on gaseous substance, on gases, it can be liquefied. When you apply pressure on gases, it can be liquefied. So the most common fuel that we have at our house, that is liquefied petroleum gas, initially it is in the gaseous state. It was in the gaseous state. So it is liquefied under high pressure. So upon applying high amount of pressure, it converts into liquid state, and then it is stored in the form of liquid in the gas cylinders. So for example, if you were to shake a gas cylinder, if you were to give it a slight jerk or shake it, you might feel that some liquid is moving inside it. Not a completely filled cylinder, but if it's half empty, then you might observe it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, no? So that is the thing about it. Then whenever you turn the burner of the turn the burner of the stove on, so thereby this LPG, that is in the liquid state, as soon as it comes out of the burner of the stove, the pressure is reduced, so hence it converts back into the gaseous state. Then liquefied petroleum gas, it mainly consists of butane. LPG mainly consists of butane. Butane is simply C4H10. Do tell me, isn't butane a hydrocarbon? Isn't this a hydrocarbon?
Yes, sir.
Made up of carbon and hydrogen. Getting it now? Okay, now. So domestic different kind of gases that you see, like in India particularly, if you live in India, and you will have a domestic gas cylinders like Indian, of the
Yes, sir.
Indian company.
Bharat gas.
Bharat gas is very good. So all of them basically mainly they contain butane. Getting it? And then liquefied petroleum gas, why it is preferred over other fuels? We have wood also, we have coal also, we have kerosene also, but why we use liquefied petroleum gas? Because it's a good fuel because of because of its good properties. Like it burns easily. It burns easily. It has a high calorific value. It has a high calorific value. Due to this, it produces a lot of heat upon burning, and it burns with a smokeless flame. Upon burning, it does not cause air pollution, uh, and it does not releases any poisonous gases on burning. Getting it now? And most importantly, it does not leave any residue after burning. So these are the following good properties about it. I will write it down in the next class. Okay. Okay. So that's it for today. If you guys have any questions regarding today's class, please to let me know. Yes.
Out, sir.
Okay. So revise whatever we have studied. For revision, you might use your books. Okay. No. Revise whatever we have studied regarding petrol from book. And if you have any questions, please to let me know in the next class.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.